Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the SIRS podcast. Now, an official ELU podcast, fully backed and sponsored by ELU. That's right, we sold out! Now, for those of you who might be new to the show, I'm your host, Ruckus, and joining me are my fellow co hosts. I'm Asian, LOL, and Nightmare Setta. And Solomon Khan joins us here in spirit. And tonight we have a special guest, as you can already see, a man who needs no introduction, one of the founding fathers of ELU, Mikeypooh. It is just perfect. Glad to have you on the show, Mikey. For all the viewers out there, can you give us a little rundown on who you are and what you do for the league? Oh, shoot, hold on. We're having an audio issue. Yes. I think I just fixed the problem. Can Nightmare
Can
Setta
you
speak, please?
hear me?
Yeah, sure, I'll talk. Everyone likes to hear my voice, soothing tones,
Beautiful.
my voice across the airstreams.
Asian, can you give us a mic check, please?
Hello, I'm right here.
I believe that was
Can
a
y'all hear
vibe
me?
check and not a mic check, but I'll take it.
Take it, take it.
We good now?
Probably.
I think we're good now. Awesome. So, Mikey, if you could restart with giving us a little rundown on who you are and what you do for the league.
Yeah. I'll just pre-apologize for my cough. And well, I'm Mikeypooh. At the moment, this season I took a step back from being a director just because my job keeps me really busy. But I still watch all the games. I still keep track of kernels. I still try to interact when I can here. I sub. And yeah, it's it's been a bit of an off season for me, but the other seasons I've been really active, and I hope to increase that later on. So uh, yeah, I have been following the season pretty closely though, and I know what teams have been doing well, and it's been a wild ride. There's been teams just up and down, roller coastering around.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you don't have to tell me about roller coaster of a ride. Jesus. Um, it's been a great season from just the watching other teams step up other than the perennial powerhouses of TPP and LLW. We saw a pretty resurgent Rev at the beginning of the season, a little mid season slump, and then coming back strong for a very interesting gauntlet playoff run that I was really hyped about, and then they come up against the stone wall of GCC. Um, Tough loss, but GCC's been sitting atop the league all season, along with GCA. So us arriving at a finals between these two teams kind of felt inevitable. Wouldn't you agree?
They, in my mind, they were always two of the top three teams, if not just straight up the top two teams. Yeah, I would say they were always the top two teams. I mean, for at the beginning of the season, I think I had TPP ranked number one just because they had the highest ranked team still. But I, I mean, and no offense to TPP, but I pretty quickly realized that wasn't the case after just a few series, and they ended up sliding down the power rankings. And then I'd say about midway through the season, we realized GCC and GCA were the best teams. Rev was kind of up in there, like you said, for a while, but they never really got to play GCC. They I played in that series actually. Rev ended up just winning that series 2-0 based on forfeits. So we ended up playing just a series for fun,
I
and
can't help
it
but
was a good
wonder
time.
whose fault that was.
It could have been anybody's.
It could have been anyone. Yeah.
We'll assign blame at a later date. We haven't quite got the investigation done. I think it was Neffle.
I think it was Neffle too. Let's start a rumor.
It was definitely Neffle.
You heard it here first on the SIRS podcast. GCC forfeited a rev thanks to Neffle. Does that man know no bounds with his mischievous deeds? But and to be fair to a point that you just made about TPP, for the first couple of weeks of the season, I'm pretty sure they were having roster issues getting everybody to play at the same time. So like there was a point in this season where we had no idea what TPP could be, right? There was this sneaking suspicion, at least in the back of my mind, that this was a team that could explode at any moment if anyone could find out where Sunny D went, and
Right.
that there were series where they looked incredibly dominant, and then there were some head scratchers. But moving on from that, Mikey, if you had to single out a single team, biggest disappointment.
Oh God.
Oh no.
You already know.
No, there are two teams that could fit into the slot. Both of those
Flame.
both of those teams are represented here. If it's a third outlier team, I apologize. I don't mean to put you on the spotlight like that, but
No, I mean the biggest disappointment team. Are you talking about like logically or what, based on how I wanted them to do?
Based
want-
on
I want-
realistic expectations.
I want to go with your feelings. But
Okay, well, here I'll do both. How about this? Logic and realistic expectations. TPP was the biggest disappointment. They had 3 diamond to master tier players. I honestly think they're all 3 like master tier players. And they ended up just still not. I don't even think they won a playoff game, or they won one game of the series, I believe.
yes,
But-
game 1 versus Rev.
Yes. No, TPP was like logically the biggest disappointment. It's kind of like how what TPP did season 1. With I know we're not gonna get into Subgate. I mean, unless you want to, you're the host. But season 1, TPP was supposed to just destroy the entire league, and they lost to Rev again. They've lost to Rev now two playoffs out of 3, and in a huge upset. So both in my mind were big upsets. So yeah, they're. But anyway, as far as what my heart wanted, boy, that's a tough one. I'd say LLW was kind of a disappointment. In the fact that I wanted them to. I want to see new teams rise to a powerhouse situation, and LLW has been on top for too long. So in that respect, I was kind of glad somebody kicked them off. But I also am always a fan of LLW, like deep in my heart. So it's kind of a give and take. They were also a disappointment.
Yeah, it's
Congrats
The-
on not getting flamed, Asian.
Yeah, thank you.
That
Thank you,
refru-
Mikeypooh. I appreciate
yeah.
it.
I would have been all over you.
I would have been.
But I mean, there at a certain point there is a level of fatigue. Especially we saw that I think with post season 2, like a lot of people were sick of this. But to address a point you just made, that you can have 3 excellent players playing on a team, right? If the team just doesn't mesh for whatever reason, whatever's going on behind the scenes, bad calls, not listening to calls, or everybody's just not like on the same page for a game plan, then it only takes one piece not working for a team to not move forward, right? So some level of that applies to TPP, but to bring up your other disappointment, that obviously applies to LLW as well, because you have a really good mid laner, you have an excellent jungler for most of the season until his government calls him up. You have a series of unfortunate events, and just not enough stepping up done on other members' parts, myself included. I'm sure I could have played better, but it only takes one thing for a competitive team to fall apart, right? and I think that was really on full display for both LLW and to a certain extent TPP. And
Well, can I add one more too?
yeah, sure, why not?
And I know I know they had the gauntlet run, and that was exciting and amazing, but Rev disappoint me in their midseason slump and overall just getting kicked out because this is a team that started out like 4-0. I guess 4-0 if you count the sub game, which doesn't count, but this is a team that was like on fire. They were just destroying everyone. I genuinely don't know what happened. From my knowledge, I don't think they won a single game nearly the rest of the season, but I might need to go back and look. So I don't know what that was, but let's see. Okay.
Rev was looking pretty scary, and we heard they played like sub team first week or something.
Yeah.
And we all heard rumors like, oh my god, this is the Rev that never was. Like they're gonna just wipe the floor. And then I knew a couple of the people on the team, and I was like, yeah, they look pretty scary. So
because the sub team, me and 999 Forever were on, and we got destroyed by Rev. But granted, we were all playing off roles, we were all playing off meta stuff. But still, it was kind of like it was weird to get ran over that hard when like I felt like we were the same elo as their team, but on average. But yeah, so I don't know. Rev started out super strong, but then just kind of, yeah, I honestly think they didn't win a single series the rest of the season after that hot streak.
You got to keep in mind that Dangerously Stale is like Sleeper Diamond. Like, he is insanely good.
Yeah, he is. He's very good.
But they weren't playing around.
I would argue that they kind of were playing around because just knowing Dangerously Stale, and I know he's watching right now, and he knows this too, that he's prone to making a goof every now and then in a play. Gets kind of in the heat of the moment of things, is like goes for the big play, doesn't quite work out. Again, that is not slander towards you. It is all love. Dangerously Stale, as you know. You a real homie. We appreciate you.
Nothing but love.
Typical support player.
I'm sure they weren't trying very hard against the sub team, and just like we weren't trying too hard, but it was still like we still could tell that micro wise they were really good. But yeah, don't know what happened. I did like the gauntlet run though. That was very entertaining to watch.
It was incredible.
Asshole.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Sorry,
Yeah.
Asian. Sorry, Asian.
Oh no, you're good, bro.
It's interesting, Mikey. You mentioned their micro. I always thought that watching, especially in their playoffs run, their macro was what was so dominant. They just were all over.
So
drags.
I was just specifically talking about the sub series, their first series. So because neither team was using macro that series, we were just goofing around. So all I could notice was their micro. But yeah, no, I agree with you. If we're talking about the rest of the season, yes, their macro definitely was shining through as well.
I really liked how they always seemed to get like first drag pre 5 minutes, and like even in so like they showed it a lot versus TDT, and then they continued to do it against TPP. I was like, at what point in these series are we gonna start getting wards on drag at around 4 minutes? Because they just did this in the first 2 games, and they're continuing to do it in Game 3, and Series 2, and so on and so forth. So it was little stuff like that that really propelled them through early games and really helped them a lot mid-late game.
I want a gold check on junglers. Do you have 75? Drop a pink on that. Come on.
75? Speaking of junglers, I think they're both listening right now. I honestly think Donut has a chance to beat young Setta in the jungle if he just lets loose. But I think that Donut's just scared. I think he's too scared to jungle against young Setta. I actually think Rev could have won those games, but
they had no shot. It was never gonna happen.
Yeah, probably not. But I will say though, I know that like young Setta and Donut play with each other, and I honestly think if Donut just picked the picks he wanted to do, and I don't even know how I'm trying to say it, but I think he's just scared of young Setta, and
Donut can't betray his master, bro. That's his student status, dude.
Yeah, it's student status. Come on.
That's the storyline for season 4. Donut upsets the master.
If Donut would pick the picks he wanted, I'd want a refund. Like, I didn't give that man $12 for nothing.
Young Trendsetter is hard setting down that will never happen. He will always dominate Donut in the jungle.
Well, we've heard that before, Young Trendsetter.
Yes, copium
Yes, we.
out of copium's oozing through my veins.
Hey guys,
think,
going back to college. See y'all later.
I just think I'm always
right.
even playing against Donut now. Going back to like I had him on my team last season, and then even like season 1. I'm always amazed that like I think Donut might be the most improved player out of all of ELU from where he started to where he is now.
This is true.
Yeah,
Like
true.
I
he
can vouch
is.
for that.
Yeah,
I can
this
vouch.
man. Yeah, this man is like night and day from the Ivern one trick we saw.
Oh my gosh, yeah,
in the
those days
beginning.
where you just banned Ivern and you knew
And then
it
it
was
was
a free
hard.
win.
It was hard after that. And this man, like, and that's one of the things I like about the league is it really forces you to pick up new things, and like you play against players that you wouldn't normally play against. And I think that Donut has definitely benefited the most out of that.
Oh yeah, because everyone knows everyone for the most part and knows what to ban. And
Yeah.
if they don't know, they'll figure out real quick, right? So
But
yeah, I know.
that's what's fun about this kind of
Exactly.
league.
It is fun, yeah, for sure. I agree.
Like nothing makes me happier than pulling Vex bans after like 4 weeks of not pulling any and doing pretty good on it, and then just all of a sudden it's like permaban. Like I'm just like feels good.
Feels good.
And
Feels good.
and Vex is kind of in a bad place right now. No.
Now Vex is turbo busted. Keep banning it.
Oops. Spoilers.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Sorry. Keep coughing, Mike.
Yeah,
Like
you're good, Mikey. I'm gonna go ahead and jump into my first question if that's cool.
Go for it.
So, Mikey, you mentioned you were taking a back seat. Your job's keeping you busy. I want to know when you're going to join a team. I'd like to see you either join a team or be a captain, and I want to see you carry one to a championship.
Oh boy, that would be fun. Well, the only ELU team I was actually on was season 1 Rev, and I was a sub, so I only played 4 games that entire season.
Unfortunately.
Hey, I will say though,
we missed you. I was on that team.
Hey, we won 2 of the. I won 2 of the 4 games I played with Rev, so I had a 50% win rate with Rev. I'll say that. One of those games might have been in the second season when I subbed for him, but regardless.
Yeah. Just to go ahead and make sure you're realizing you're getting called out right now. You can't make excuses for not being a captain. Look at GCC, and they're right. Our captain does not play, so you could definitely be a captain.
Oh, Big Lebowski.
and not play. So you just got hard called out, but 100% right. I expect to see your name.
Yeah. Do you want to rethink your statement now?
Retract it.
What statement am I retracting again?
That
being
you
busy or?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I actually would love to be a part of a team. I don't know if I'd be a captain or just drafted eventually. That is my goal, and I think the league is flexible as far as when you get to play. But yeah, and also I will say on Big Lemowski, I think he's like kind of low key a drafting genius because he's drafted a really good team 2 seasons in a row. Now, granted, the last season, obviously, unfortunate circumstances. We don't talk about it, but that was still a really good team. I think we can all agree. When, like, the team he drafted.
Was that last year at GCC?
Yeah, they were like undefeated till I think Young Trent said I had to leave, and then someone else left. But no, Big Lemowski, I think his drafting is pretty awesome. His team always seems to do well. So he doesn't even have to play to carry a team, if that makes sense.
Hey man, you get the trophy either way, right?
True.
Well, Mikey, spoiler alerts. I'm gonna be a team captain one day, maybe.
Ooh,
and I'll draft you first overall pick to the Ruckus Rabble Rousers.
Ooh, that's a name. I like it. Ruckus Rabble Rousers. Nice. Oh, jeez. That's gonna, you'd make a good captain.
We'll run the table.
But then if you keep up this podcast, you got to have like a non-bias clause, but then totally be biased during the podcast because it's more fun that way.
Isn't that what
Not
I've
to
been
be-
doing this entire time?
Yeah, not to be biased or anything, but GCC is the best team that ever was. We could take TSM like easy any day.
Easy.
We've done it in
Higher
scrims
than-
already. We
right,
have the
yeah.
scrims.
Yeah, we got the
Shoot
videos
higher.
to prove it.
Shoot higher than TSM. Go to like SKT or something. I don't
Holy shit! Let's not get too big for our britches.
Let's not get
Listen, we're not Korean.
Game of League of Legends somehow over in 5 minutes.
Yeah, it's because they beat us so bad our computers turned off.
DDoS yourself.
Yeah. So we kind of went over this a little bit, Mikey, but I wanted to get. I know you're a big. Your two teams that you were backing most of the year was the sub team, obviously, and then Rev. What was your feelings during the Rev loss last week?
Since I'm kind of a lifelong Rev member, obviously I was on their team season 1. I subbed for them season 2 a few times, and we actually did pretty. We got a big upset win against TDT. Sorry again, Asian.
Stop kicking him
He's
while
just
he's
crying.
down.
You know, but like, okay, not to. I mean, do we all remember how bad Rev was last season? I don't even think they were that
Yeah.
bad. They just couldn't put a win together.
Yeah, they were the team of like winning early and then just like somehow losing anyway.
Yeah. And so that I loved subbing in for Rev, but I'm always kind of a low key fan of underdogs anyway. I guess
Oh,
I'm a
most
fan of
fun.
every team. I'm a fan of every team in different ways, but Rev is definitely underdog status, so that's why I'm a fan of them. But yeah, so I was kind of sad when they lost to GCC, but I knew GCC earned it. I actually knew since like week 1 or 2 GCC was gonna probably be in the finals, and I'm not trying to act like I'm a palm reader like mastermind over here. Like it was pretty obvious that they were one of the better teams. I think I always had them in my top 2 for the power rankings basically the entire time. But yeah, I don't know. Does that answer your question?
I guess so.
Maybe not. I don't know. I was just kind of ramble. Sometimes I ramble a lot, and I'm like, I think I answered the question, but probably not.
No, that's fine. You just say whatever you feel like. Um, so I guess moving forward, what are your now new predictions for playoff based on where we're at right now?
Boy, GCC versus GCA. This is tough because I've actually don't tell Violet Cap, but I've actually been doubting GCA like the entire season. I always knew they were a top 3 team. Like, don't get me wrong. I was always like, yeah, they're a top team. But I gave Violet Cap the curse. I don't know. He probably calls it the Mikey curse.
He talked
or
about
something.
it. He talked about this
Yeah.
actually.
He probably calls it the Mikey curse, but ever since the conception of ELU, his team has always been 3rd in the power rankings. I don't actually think they've ever moved. Like, maybe they've moved once or twice, but and I know the power rankings are arbitrary and don't actually mean anything. Like, winning means everything, you know?
Right.
But even in the finals, like season 1, they were in the finals. I still had them ranked the number 3 team behind TPP and LLW. So even though they were the 2nd place team, I was like, nope. Like, so Violet Cap, I gave them the Mikey curse, where I'm like, you're always gonna be a 3rd place team. You'll always be a top team, but just out of reach of the championship status. And hey, now he has a chance to prove me wrong. I kind of hope he does, because I keep saying I'm a fan of every team, but I really am a big fan of GCA. I haven't had a bad experience with anyone on their team, or like on pretty much any team. But yeah, GCA is just a bunch of swell dudes, and on yeah, I know I should be going for GCC because we got people in here, but
Oh, I don't care.
that's a tough one. I think GCC wins, but I think the series is a lot closer than people give it credit for. And I think GCA really proved me wrong this season. They definitely beat the 3rd place curse that has been following them around the last 2 seasons. So, yeah, they beat the curse. Maybe they'll go all the way. My predictions are though 2-1 GCC, or is it going to be a 5-game series?
It's 5 game.
Is it?
Yeah, it's gonna be a 5-game series.
Okay. Boy, Honestly, if that's the case, I would not be surprised if we see Silver Scrapes go to Game 5. Like, I think that's actually, I'll go out on a limb and say that's the most likely scenario, honestly,
Hey,
because
hey,
that's how close.
hey,
That's how close
guys!
these
That's the
games are.
script. He's leaking the script.
It's leaking this.
That's what's gonna happen.
Mikey,
Yeah,
we haven't even got that yet. Don't tell
uh,
us.
oh yeah, I do have the script in a safe right beside me. I wish I could take a picture. I do have my safe right beside me.
Yeah, I haven't practiced my troll flash mid lane to die and throw that fight in game 4.
Yeah, that's something you practice in practice. Yeah, yeah, for sure.
Okay, I got one more for you, Mikey. So I guess this is a more general question about the league as a whole. How do you kind of feel about the direction of the league, and then kind of where do you want to see it go from here, where we're at?
I'm gonna be honest, and this isn't a bad or a good thing. People are gonna automatically take this as a negative thing. It's not. I actually have no idea what direction the league's going, and that's not a bad thing. That honestly, in many respects, could be a good thing. Like, and a lot of it has been due to the fact that I took a step down from the director role. Yeah, I have no idea. I have no idea what direction the league's heading, and honestly, that makes me even more excited. I know that's kind of sounds weird,
Yeah,
but but I really am excited. I like this league a lot. I like everyone in it. Um, we I remember last season as directors, Nubity, Mom, and I, we all kind of had our different ideas of what direction we want to bring the league. I know there was I mean, I don't think this is giving anything away that like Mom wouldn't want me to give away, but we had discussions on should we run a more professional league or should we keep it chill just for fun or should we have a mix like in the middle, like competitive but also for fun
they
and
ran
kind of,
a they ran a poll on that. That's not. That's
yeah,
not.
so that's not behind the scenes curtains. Yeah. So and we kind of went back and forth. I didn't have too strong opinions one way or the other, but there is a spectrum, right?
Right.
If
I
you
think
get
we tried the middle pretty hard. I think we.
yeah, and I think the middle is where we should be because if it's too loose and too for fun, then nobody cares. There's nothing
Right.
to it. But if it's too strict, like legitimately LCS or even stricter than LCS, like I've been a part of a league that was legitimately stricter than LCS, and I know you're
It's not
thinking that's
fun. Yeah,
I
it's
know,
not.
I know people are like, how can you be more strict than the LCS? No, trust me. These people
Yeah.
were like, these people were like, oh, you have to have your camera on at all times. Like they basically had refs watching every camera of the players, and I'm just like, oh, geez. But anyway, so yeah, I don't want to see us get to that point. Obviously, like North Korea status. Sorry,
Right.
was that political? I didn't mean to get political on the
Oh,
podcast.
they're not
Oh,
watching. They're not watching.
Jesus.
Yeah, they're not watching. They're not watching.
If any North Koreans are watching, congrats on getting out of the country.
Congrats
I
on getting
apologize.
internet and tuning into the SIRS.
That's the first thing they tune into. Hey, fair enough. Uh, no, but yeah. So there is a spectrum, and I think in the middle is where we should be sitting. But obviously, who knows? I think, and like you said, that's where the poll kind of took us. So
Yeah. Any kind of rule changes? Anything you'd like to see that you didn't like this year? That you want to see next year? I got an example, but I kind of want to hear your thoughts first before I give an example.
sure. I know we've made strides in the rules. Like obviously, everyone points to Subgate. I think we made strides in the sub rules.
Mm-hmm.
Um, we made strides in the drafting rules. Like Mom and I were talking about this yesterday. I actually think every season, I mean, with the exception of a couple teams, every season the teams have been like pretty balanced. Like just
Mm-hmm.
look at last season. The like all the teams were beating each other except for Rev, but like everybody else was just beating everyone else.
Yeah, in GCC once we lost our grandmaster. Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm not
Or
tooting my own horn with the
champion.
draft rules because it actually took me a long time to come up with those draft rules, but I was
Mm-hmm.
like, okay, so you can start out with one or with like a captain, co-captain. If they're both plat, you can't draft a plat plus person. And then we did
Mm-hmm.
like I had to go through all these variables in my head, and I'm like, I actually did a ton of mock drafts. I know this sounds super nerdy and like virgin tier, but I did a ton of mock drafts. And I was like, this is actually balanced. Like every
Mm-hmm.
mock draft I do, based on what the logical next like person you would pick is, all the teams are balanced, and it actually has worked out couple seasons in a row now. So I think it's not up to me, but I do think we keep the draft rules. What? I guess I should stop talking. What was your example?
So my example, I think we have a little bit of a kind of loosey goosey rule on teams showing up like late or having to
Yeah.
sub late.
Technically. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
So yeah, but it's not so I think that like giving a game is a little extreme in terms of like one like streamability of the series. I think like maybe if you show up late, like you lose like a ban or something, right?
Yeah.
So maybe you can't, and that's just like an opinion. I'm not saying it's the right one,
I could
but
actually see that. I could. Oh, go ahead. I
and
keep
like
cutting you off.
no, you're good. And like we come into like a lot of games where it's like straight up like, hey, this guy's running late, and we'll be like, yeah, we're not gonna force like the 5 minute, 10 minute, whatever. Now if they're like an hour late, that's kind of annoying. We're all sitting here, right?
That's
But
different.
like it's different than like 5-10 minutes. Like maybe you'll lose a ban, so you can't ban out that guy's one trick, or you have to give up a ban somewhere else. And then that kind of maybe that doesn't lose you the game, but it gives you a disadvantage, kind of proportional to what your what your grievance was. I think like straight up losing a game and then you play one and it's decided, or maybe they win that one and then you play two and it's decided. It seems a little and that's one man's opinion. And that's just kind of I just kind of wanted your thoughts on. That's the one that always sticks out to me because I see a lot of like series. It's like you watching it, you're getting into it. That was a great game, and then it's like, oh, it's over because you know
Sure.
Neffle showed up 10
Yeah.
minutes late, so not to
Well,
Are,
and
is there some
again,
hate going on here?
no,
What's
I just feel like I can pick on Neffle because he's on my team, and
no,
I'm not gonna
I
pick on
pick on Neffle.
myself.
I pick
But
on Neffle an insane amount, actually.
yeah, Neffle's a good guy, so I feel like I can kind of.
Yeah, I was about to
He's
say.
never been late. Full disclosure, it was me that caused us to forfeit. Okay, so like no,
Oh, that was
but
such a big mystery. We needed to get the Scooby Doo gang
so
in here for that one.
glad you
yeah,
got that off your chest. You've been holding that in for
yeah,
weeks.
just but um. I just and it's not even because of that game. Like I was so late to that one, we should have lost a game for that. But like, there's some times
It's
when
an
they're a
example,
few
though. Yeah.
minutes late, and it's like, wow, well,
Well,
should you really forfeit a full game? Should you
well,
just lose like a ban or something? Something. I don't know.
so Well, and again, so this season I'm not a director. We'll see what Nubity and Mom want to do with that. Maybe we can revise that in the off season. I I did make the rule that the other team can enforce it because a lot of times the other team is chill and doesn't want to enforce it. But just to correct you a little bit, I I actually don't think we're loosey goosey in the fact that even if you're a second late, you lose a game. That seems like pretty strict. The loosey goosey part is the so you're almost saying, so just for semantics sake,
Mhm.
you're almost saying our rules are too strict, but
No, I'm saying
the teams go loosey goosey about it and are like, oh, that's totally chill.
so. My thing is like sometimes it's enforced, and when it's enforced, it's like it's a brutal punishment, and then other
Sure.
times it's not enforced because the teams don't care. And it's like I said, I don't. It's more of like from a viewer standpoint from me than a player standpoint.
Just
I
maybe,
would rather watch more
yeah.
games than less games,
Well, everyone would as a viewer,
right?
but
And so
nobody made a really good point in chat. The rules mainly for production rather than
sure.
and
But then, but
oh, go
that's where that I mean, if it's not going to be streamed, why are the rules? Like, I don't know that the rules should be
Well, just
different.
because you have to keep it consistent. Like even
I
if it's
understand,
not going to be streamed, it's weird to just change rules randomly throughout the season, whether it's streamed or not.
and that's why
Like
I'm not even going to say like change the rules for the rest of the season. But like when we have a gap, new rules, whatever, updated rules. Like maybe like for every 10 minutes late you lose one ban. If you lose all your bans, you forfeit the
I think
game.
Mom and
You
Nudity
know,
could be
like,
talked into that. I think Mom and Nudity could definitely be talked into that. I
and I'm not,
honestly think it should be every
yeah.
like 5. It should be like every 5 minutes you lose a ban in my mind. But I
And
mean
that's
that.
what I'm saying. I'm not the man with the answers here, but I'm just saying, like, I just think from a production standpoint, you'd rather, even if it starts 20 minutes late, you'd rather show 2 games than 1 game.
By the way, this rule would never pass. But wouldn't it be hilarious if you're like 15 minutes late, the other team gets to pick a character for you to play?
That would
That'd be
be
hilarious.
Be a
I mean,
lot
it
of
would never happen.
Teemos.
It would never happen. It would never
no
happen. But
way.
it'd be like
Yeah.
a Yumi top. It'd be like a Yumi top. Or
Oh,
something.
you get to pick where it goes to.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I'm just spitballing something.
You get
Joel.
to pick. You get to throw your pick
No,
in wherever you want.
So if Setta shows up 15 minutes late again, it's like you have to play Crit Yumi top.
Yeah,
Have a nice.
yeah, have fun with Ultimate Bravery.
Have fun with Ultimate Bravery top.
Yeah.
No, obviously that would never happen. But I do the ban. We could probably look into that whole you lose a ban thing for every like 5 minutes late you are. The reason for the strict rules. The strict rules are for production, and then the loosey goosey part of it came that teams. It's always up to the other team if they wish to enforce that.
Sure.
I personally want to keep that part of the rule. If I'm being honest.
And
Other
and I'm fine with that. The problem you run into is like some teams that are have like stickler people, and some teams don't, and it just leads to like, I don't know.
At the end of the
You
day,
run
it's
in.
all up to you. It's all up to you if you're up on time or not.
Sure.
And
Right.
I mean that
And
in
that's
like,
why that's why I'm like, you know what? If you're late, you're late. It's on you. So, but
yeah,
I totally get it.
because we all had that teacher in high school who
Yeah.
we busted our butt and still got a C, and then the other teacher where we barely cared and got an A. Like we can either the rules are enforced or they're not. And I get what you're saying. There's sticklers on some. So you know when you're playing against this team, they're always going to take the forfeited games.
Yeah.
And I don't know. Maybe we could just switch it to it's an automatic forfeit and the other team doesn't get a say if that's more fair. I just thought it would leave more games open. Like if the other team has a say, 'cause sometimes the other team wants to play a full series. So why punish both teams when only one team is late? You know what I'm saying? That's why I gave the option to the other team that wasn't late. And I think that that's overall good to keep around, but I don't know. Maybe we'll take a poll. Maybe we'll take a poll for all these rules.
I know this is just a riveting conversation for the last 10 minutes, but do you have any more questions, Nightmare Setta?
I'm good. Thank you.
This seems to be stirring up a lot of feelers right now. So at this point, we're gonna throw it over to I'm Asian LOL, who's chomping at the bit to get at Mikey.
Right here, ready for my first question. A little bit away from E-League, I just want to ask, how do you come over your IGN? Mikeypooh, please. I know you have different accounts with different various names. A man with many names. I would like to know the backstory.
I know. Some of my favorites are the albino wombat, the forgotten kumquat. I do have a lot of accounts. But yeah, Mikeypooh's my main account. I don't actually know. I know this is a boring answer, but I actually I don't know. A couple of my friends call me Mikey, Michael's my name, but I don't know. Mikeypooh I don't know. I was okay.
You're a sweetie poo?
I'm a sweetie pie. I'm a sweetie pie.
Yeah, sweetie pie.
I'm a sweetie pie. I'm a Pooh Bear. I don't know. I don't have a good reason why I came up with that name. I just said it in my head, and I'm like, that sounds so dorky and dumb. I'm gonna name my character that. Like, the dorkier and dumber it is, the more likely I'm gonna name a gaming character that. And so a lot of my gaming characters are named Mikeypooh. So I don't know. I wish I had a better answer for you. I'm so sorry.
Oh, that's fine. You got a better answer for me right here. I have a better question. Is it scientifically proven drinking makes ranked games winnable? Speaking for a friend.
Break down the science.
100%. I've put on my lab coat many, many nights of solo queue and done these tests. I have my beakers of beer next to me. So yes, this is all scientifically proven that when I drink, I do better in ranked. Totally kidding, I don't. I lose a lot of ranked. But
I feel contractually obligated to say that for all you underage kids, don't drink and play League.
yeah, well, don't drink at all if you're underage.
Oh yeah, underage. No bueno.
No bueno.
Unless you want
But
to be cool.
unless you want to be cool, peer pressure. ELU, the League of Peer Pressure. But if you don't do it, you're not a cool kid, and we're gonna bully you. No. I just like to crack open a beer and play some League after work on occasion. I don't see why that's a crime. I mean, the only crime is my low win rate. That's a crime. But yeah.
Yeah,
So
I really feel like I like this league because I can lay back and relax and play, especially.
for sure. And losing's not the end of the world.
It's got that
Um,
unique, like, chill, competitive environment to it.
Yeah. The thing is, if we had, I don't know if some of you remember Firebeard, and he said he doesn't want a money prize, kind of like how I know we're not supposed to talk about Scuff League. It's like a fight club. But
Shambled League, Shambled League.
Shambled League. It's kind of like how Shambled League had it wasn't a real money prize, but it was a money prize. And Firebeard said, "Well, I don't want a money prize because that'll turn us into an ultra competitive, everyone's a dick league." And I see some truth to that. I don't think there was anything wrong with what Scuff League did with a like $20 Applebee's gift card. Um, but that's why I was trying to implement a system, sort of like the kernel system, where you can cash it out for prizes at the end of the season, like skins and wards and stuff. But that it really has nothing to do with you winning the championship or not. So everyone has an equal chance to win prizes, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
That's kind of where I.
It's just extra incentive. Try your
Yeah,
best.
exactly.
You always ride the line between making people want to try and like making people like be total dicks about it. But if you're being a dick over $20, you got to reevaluate your life.
For sure.
And then this is kind of a dumb question, but I have to ask it. Do you think the league would be better if there were a lot more players, like last season? Or how would we go from advertising our league to make it bigger?
Oh, there's no question that in my mind, this is obviously subjective, so I shouldn't say there's no question, but in my mind, more teams is better. Now, there's obviously a limit. Like if we have a 50-team league, we got to start making other divisions and micromanaging. I did like it a lot more with 9 teams. I thought that was really fun. This is still fun. This season's still fun. Don't get me wrong, but more honestly, the more the merrier. That's my mindset.
Rip Wardens of the North.
Yeah, Wardens of the North, the Kilroy Killjoys. Those were both 2 of my friends I brought in, and I think they made 2 really darn good teams. They fell short, but those were some darn good teams, and the league was so competitive. If everyone remembers last season, like I know I'm repeating myself, but if you take Rev out of the equation, that was such a competitive. Like any team could beat any team at any time, right? And this season's kind of the same in a way. So I'm not even trying to crap on this season because, like, TDT, which wasn't, you guys are great, but I honestly think at any point you guys could have beaten a top team. Maybe you disagree. Maybe you disagree. I don't know. I think so. Even LLW, like any.
No, please.
Oh, please don't go there. I don't know.
We all know what was wrong with that team. We know that wasn't going anywhere. We've beaten the dead horse that is LLW to death. There is no more glue to be made from that.
I'm trying to resuscitate that hoofless animal right now.
I mean, it was just a series of unfortunate events. It couldn't have been predicted. It could have happened to any team.
That does stink that Solomon Khan left, and I mean, thank the Lord he's serving his country. But he's a good jungler, and losing him is not the best. I know that Stormblade reached out to me and is like, "Hey, you looking to jungle for a team?" And I'm like, I'm not like the best jungler. I don't know if you want me. Like, I'm not gonna be able to live up to Solomon. I'm not gonna be able to live up to Solomon Khan, and I think that's what he was expecting. But
I think he just expected someone to be there,
Yeah, be a body, yeah. But to finish answering your question, yeah, I think that this league would actually do, honestly, 12 teams. Like, that's my number. if I were to shoot for a goal, 12 teams would be
bad.
just that'd be a perfect number, honestly. But
Fix
that would take some work and some advertising, and I get it. It's hard.
Maybe you offer kernels for people who get people to join the league.
I
And then
did.
so what you do is you write up a copy pasta.
Whoa, did you just
And
admit to bribing people with kernels to join the league?
100%.
now?
Nobody cares. You just give them like 10, and
Yeah.
they copy paste it every game. You know what I mean? And anyone they get a join, they get 10 kernels. You know?
Yeah. Last season I did do that. If you got new people to join, I did. Funny thing is, last season only 3 people cashed out their kernels for prizes. So that made me happy because I got to save a lot of money. But
Did those expire?
well, the ones from last season did, yes.
Oh my gosh, it's like my sick days all over again.
Oh yeah, like every year they. But anyway, so yeah, but I was happy because I saved money, but I was also like, oh dang, like I thought because there were people who were doing the clip it stuff like nonstop, like Toasty Boy, and he was always like, how many kernels did I win for that one, and then he never spent any of them. I was like, you were really on top of that kernel game for not caring about them.
Man had you sweating. He was about to cash out 10 Steam gift cards.
Listen,
Right.
it's all about the status. He wants to see himself at the top.
It was
It's
just
not
for the
about money.
clout.
It's about the only a fool plays for money. It's all about the prestige.
Speaking of prestige over money, I will give Neffle a shout out. Last season, he traded in his winnings and he donated it all to the Children's Miracle Network. So, way to go, Neffle.
Hey, way to go, Neffle.
That's
I knew he
wholesome.
was a good guy. I knew he
Wholesome.
was a good guy.
I mean, we'll still make fun of him, obviously, but
It's because he's a good guy.
it's because he's a good guy. It's why we make fun of him. He
So-
probably didn't even want me. He probably wanted to stay anonymous for that. So I'm sorry if you wanted to be a good Samaritan, but now we all know the truth that you're a good person. Now.
His bad boy image is permanently ruined now because you exposed him.
He's not a villain anymore. Dang. Ah.
How quickly the anime arc turned.
So true.
So Mikey, moving a little away from League and more for man behind the suit. It's a bit of a tradition at this point that I'm gonna ask you for your taste in music. So, when you're just at home chilling, you're in the car, whatever. What are you listening to? What genre? Favorite artist? Favorite song of the week? What you got for us, Mikey?
So I'm gonna start out with a cop out, and then go more specific.
That's fine.
My cop out answer is I honestly do love every genre. Like I even have,
That's acceptable.
I'm not even joking. I even have some opera on my list. Like, well, I guess Les Miserables. I don't know if that's opera, but so I legitimately have heavy metal, rap, country. Like I listen to it all. It depends on what mood I'm in and what season it is. I know everyone's gonna hate me for this because this is unpopular in the video gaming community, but I do like country, and like no gamers like country. I get it.
Whoa. You happen to have a bunch of country boys on a call with you, so.
Yeah. Well,
Country's fine.
Well, here's the
It's
thing.
good.
Maybe you guys can then back me up on this.
Well, it depends. So, are you talking new country, old country, or what country artists? And when I say country boys, I guess I should specify that you have three guys from the deep south.
I was about to say, I think we can all.
We're not cowboys.
I think we can all agree older country's better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did grow up working on a farm. I'm not a cowboy by any means, but like that's where I spent all my time was, in the middle of nowhere.
So you talking like Brooks and Dunn, George Strait, that kind of stuff?
Johnny
Cash. Okay, a little bit older.
Um,
I was thinking like 80s, 90s, but okay, yeah. Johnny Cash's great.
And I'm not saying all new country songs are bad. A lot of them are.
Yeah, they follow a very specific formula.
Yeah, but for sure, so country's up there. When I work out, I listen to rap and rock. Those are just.
Well, you got to get
those are
pumped.
just- Yeah. Rap and rock get you pumped. Let's just be honest. Metal, like, let's just be honest about it. When you're working out, that's what you gotta listen to. Other than that, yeah, I like it all. I mean, it's a cop out answer, but I don't.
Give us
I don't.
a song, a specific song.
Have you guys heard of Poor Man's Poison?
No.
I've been listening to them lately. They're actually really good. There's oh shoot, what's the song? Well, Hell's Coming With Me is actually really good. I don't know. Look up Poor Man's Poison. You guys would like it being from the South. These guys are from Georgia, which is close, kind of close to you guys.
Whoa,
couple
docs,
states away.
docs.
What? Oh, sorry. Was I not supposed to give away your exact location?
Wait, we'll get Nightmare Setta to cut it out. Wait, we're live. Shit.
Your exact location, which is North Dakota.
Fargo.
Fargo, North Dakota.
I'll have to
but
give
yeah.
it a listen.
Yeah. Otherwise, yeah, I don't know. That's honestly okay. So my two favorite bands, which are very popular bands, so don't call me a bandwagon rider. It's fine. Panic at the Disco and Zach Brown Band are my two favorites for sure.
I think those are good choices.
And then Dead Man's Poison's probably third. So. Yeah.
Just to throw out my musical recommendation of the week, since we've gotten back to weekly podcasting, I'm going to throw out Dark Necessities by Red Hot Chili Peppers. Fun fact, it is such a great song, and it inspired a certain member of this podcast so much that he actually directed a movie named Dark Necessities.
Ooh, who is that? Is it you?
I'm waiting for him to step up.
Oh, it's an age.
It's me.
Ah.
Yeah. I did make a movie called Dark Necessities because I had the idea when I was listening to the song. I used to write to music, and I named it after the song I was listening to when I came up with the idea.
I didn't mean to put you on the spot, or if you didn't want that shared, you can let me know now.
Okay.
Oh, it's up on YouTube, by the way, for all of you out there right now. You can watch his short film called Dark Necessities, sponsored by ELU.
Description below.
I'm actually doing this, but not now, obviously.
I can find it.
About 15 minutes, I think.
Dark.
It's okay. No one be impressed.
It's good for a college movie.
Just like lightning round, I know you guys have probably already done this, but do you guys want to give me your favorite genre and favorite band?
Okay, I'll give you my favorite genre. It's probably rock or alt rock. Favorite band, I'll go with.
Wait, is it gonna let me link it? Is the bot gonna?
I don't know.
Okay, we'll just full send.
I'll go with.
I got timed out from chat.
Nice.
I'll throw it in self promo of ELU. Is that acceptable?
That's fine. I'll go with shoot.
Dad put you on the spot.
Fuck it. I'll go with Green Day. I love Green Day.
There you go. They are good.
They're excellent.
I don't get people who hate bands just because they're popular. That's like what I said about the Panic at the Disco thing. People are like, oh, but they're so mainstream. I'm like, well, they're mainstream for a reason because they're probably decent. I mean, not everything mainstream is good, but like, I just hate
opinion.
I just hate hipsters who are like, I hate it because it's popular. I'm like, okay, well, sorry.
They're the same people telling you about how great they are when they're a garage band.
I was about to say, I think the hipsters that are like, oh, Panic at the Disco's first album is their only true work, all substantive work, stuff like that.
Yeah, right.
Like, stop it. Like, we get it. You're a big fan. You've been there since day one. But the thing with musicians, and I think with most people as a whole, is that you grow, you evolve, you change over time, and musicians do the same thing. Their sounds change. What they like changes. What inspires them changes. So like, if you only want a band to make the same 10 albums over a span of a 20-year career with 100 songs that sound the same, I think you're the problem.
Ruckus, some people are boring, and you just need to accept that. You need to let them be boring.
Well, obviously, but
I'm just kidding. No, I agree with you. So.
Yeah.
All right, Ting, give us your K-pop recommendation.
Well, we talking about bands? Like, I got bands too. Like I listen.
I said favorite genre and band.
Any genre. It really depends on the mood. And then when I mean the mood, I mean if I'm either roasted, sauteed, or just stony bologna.
There. Okay, you just name off a
So
couple then.
when I'm roasted, I like to listen to a little bit of Spanish hip hop and some
Hey, I'm Spanish.
like Bad Bunny's pretty good. I listen to him. Los Villa, they're all right. Alina Rose, stuff like that. And then like if like bands, I like to listen to the Arctic Monkeys and Foster the People.
Ooh, Arctic
They're
Monkeys is
like,
great.
Ooh.
Have you heard? Hey, Asian, have you heard "Sit Next to Me" by Foster the People? That song's a bop.
It's a bop. It's a bop.
It's a bop.
Their Lotus Eater album's pretty good. I mean, Sacred Hearts Club, Lotus Eater, it's a good song by them. But when I'm roasted, that's when I like to listen to my rap, bro.
I want you to know Ooh, go for it.
Yeah, I like to listen to some like kind of like not really like SoundCloud kind of like Ghost Main, Ramirez, Suicide Boys, stuff like that. I like if I'm like in a thinking rap mood, Kid Cudi, Kendrick Lamar, they're pretty good. I like them. And then of course Eminem's is like the best white rapper.
I will say rap is my first true love. That was my first favorite genre. So it has a special place in my heart. For sure.
When I'm stony baloney, that's when I like to listen to like some Frank Sinatra and Bobby Caldwell, shit like that. Get my soul working, you know.
Frank Sinatra, I love that.
Is that the guy with the bell bottom song, Asian?
No, that's actually they are called the Bell Bottoms. They're by the I think that's the band actually.
Oh.
Yeah, the song is actually called Come back to me with this one.
Never mind. I derailed the podcast right there. It's okay.
The derailing. But
so,
did you even go yet, Ruckus? I was gonna ask you.
I gave a song recommendation. Did you want band recommendations?
It's up to you. I just felt weird that you were asking me all the questions. I'm like, it's not all about me. I want to.
Well, I gave the Dark Necessities recommendation, and that led into a movie tie-in. That was pretty cool. I can.
I'm not writing these recommendations down, by the way. I want to listen to these.
Well, that's the great thing about the internet is this will be here forever.
Quick cut in, Troy. They're called this. Oh, my bad.
Oh my god, it's okay. Where I live, my name, it's all out there now.
Oh,
yeah.
You know what? You didn't realize.
The Spencer Blues explosion.
Okay, I've been in large group chats with Asian, and I've said his real name, and I felt bad.
It's all good. I'll throw out.
I told you all my real name.
Mikey?
If you can't figure out my real name by Mikeypooh, I can't help you.
He's lying. Brian.
Brian from State Farm. Yeah. Anyway, go ahead.
Okay. Hold on. I'm scrolling for the name of the song. It's by Shinedown. It's called "I Dare You." I think that is a really inspirational song. Some people might consider it a little simple, but I think I really like the message. I like how upbeat it is, and it makes it seem like you're a little invincible. I think it's a good pump-up song. It's a good pick-me-up too. I'll throw that out there. And for all you Mr. Smooths out there, The Game of Love by Santana featuring Michelle Branch. That's another song that's been really stuck in my head. It actually, for more of a nostalgia reason, because it was on the radio all the time when I was a kid. So, but it's also a really good song. I'll throw that one out there too.
There you go.
Plus, it's got Santana in it. So.
You can't go wrong, honestly.
Yeah. So we've been going for a good bit here, Mikey, and stop.
I'm still sad you didn't ask me the question you asked all the other. What are you laughing at?
What question are you referring to, Mikey?
You asked everyone how they got started in League. I'm just kind of offended you didn't ask me. How dare you?
I did. That was the first question I asked you. I'm pretty sure.
Am I high?
I don't remember it.
Oh, I asked, give us a rundown on who you are. How'd you get in the league, Mikey?
All right, I'll be quick about it. So, in my freshman year of college, I think sophomore year actually, I literally had a laptop. I kid you not. I bought brand new for $100. So think in your mind how terrible that laptop is. If you can buy it brand new for $100. Um, and then it started falling apart my sophomore year of college. Obviously, I had this thing since my senior year of high school, and I had it held together with Pittsburgh Steelers duct tape because I'm a Pittsburgh Steelers fan. And
Gross.
so my whole yeah, right, I know. So my entire laptop was held together by duct tape. If any of this duct tape came off, my computer literally falls apart like a cartoon. Like gears go everywhere and stuff, you know? Like I people think I'm exaggerating. I have pictures of it. I could probably share some. But anyway, this is what I played League on. And my friend, he's like, "Hey, come play this game League with us in this one hall, this one dorm that they all lived in." And all my friends who I started playing League with still play to this day, which is uncommon. They're all still like iron, which I think is hilarious because they've been playing longer than me by a good couple seasons, and they're still iron.
They're worse than they were when they started. Damn.
Yeah, right. Because iron didn't even exist back then. And yeah, I eventually climbed to gold and eventually plat on that laptop, which I'm very proud of, because it was bad. It was really bad. And then I joined the college's esports team and really just got into League from there. Sorry, I just wanted to share what I started playing League on because I think a lot of people have similar experiences where they started playing their favorite game on something just awful and eventually upgraded. And when you upgrade, it feels so good. It's like a drug.
2008 Dell PC. That thing, it's still running strong. My grandma still uses it. But dear God, playing League on that, learning to play League on that, atrocious. Atrocious.
Did you trackpad eventually? I had to trackpad
No,
some games.
never. I was never that big of a degenerate.
I had to do that some games when my mouse wasn't working. Dude, I'm telling you, my laptop was bad.
Yeah. So real quick before we wrap up, we've been going for a while here. Asian and Setta, what was your first machines you played League on? Since half the call has shared that already.
I actually had an okay computer because I was into computer gaming before I started playing League. So I had an Alienware X51 or something like that.
Rich kid, got it. Asian?
And I had it through my sophomore year of college. And then
we already hate you. No,
that's okay. I had it for like 10 years. Relax.
I totally came, but Alienware is good.
Yeah.
Usually.
I think I started playing League on a HP laptop.
I was gonna say I was pretty sure you were a laptop gamer like Mikey.
Yeah, I was a laptop gamer like you, Mikey, for a while. But
Let's go.
sadly, I was not a degenerate like you and used a trackpad. Nah, can't do that.
That was only sometimes. I only did that a few certain specific times.
I wonder why you're so good.
Yeah, right? If you can win games with the trackpad, you're gonna be just master tier. I'm not master tier, but you know, that's because I didn't win those games.
And then, believe it or not, Ruckus, I did have a PC for a little bit. It was like one of their older PCs. I don't know what the brand was, but my dad chunked that hoe one day. But the thing was, the PC didn't break. The monitor broke. The PC didn't break, and I hooked it up to the TV, and it worked. And I played TV on a 48-inch TV for a while.
I'm pretty sure if I chunked this old Dell thing, that thing would shatter and there'd be a cloud of dust. That thing is ancient. But
yeah, my computer stopped turning on, so I threw it away. So I get it.
Yeah, but look how far we've come. Mikey, I can't tell you how much I really appreciate you coming on here. This has been in the works forever. I swear to God, it feels like the last 2 months we've been trying to organize things with Mikey, and either it wouldn't work out on his end because we had work, or we couldn't get the boys together that specific week. One reason or another, my fault, Setta's fault, Asian's fault. You know, it happens. The scheduling conflicts.
Your boys were threatening me.
Yeah.
Setta and Asian both messaged me and said, "You best not come on the podcast. I'll come over to your house." And I'm like, "What?"
Had the bat ready. I had the
I had the bat ready.
I got.
Look outside, Mikey.
Look outside. Oh no, he's there.
I'm on my hotspot.
Oh no.
Me and Setta's already there.
Oh, no. I knew it. That's why. That's why the podcast couldn't happen.
It happened because this was honestly the perfect time to have you on. The week before finals was supposed to be the day before finals weekend got started, but this is when it was truly meant to happen, so that we could share this and you could share your insight with us, and we could kind of reflect on season 3 a little bit. It worked out for the best.
For sure. I think this was the perfect timing.
Yeah.
Minus my sickness.
Can I get a recap on Mikey's thoughts? Yeah, you can watch the video again when we're done. when we're done, Arctic.
Yeah.
This man's sick. This man's sick.
Repeat the whole podcast. Let's start over.
All right. Everybody, turn your scripts back to page 1.
Back to page 1.
Interior podcast.
Don't
Lights
record
dimmer.
it. We talked crap about Arctic the whole time, so probably don't show him that. But,
Arctic realized the error of his ways in chat. You love to see it.
we love just.
Shout out to Arctic, another true homie, and shout out to all of y'all for tuning in to the first ever live episode of the SIRS podcast. This has truly been an adventure with Mikey. Again, thank you so much for coming on, Mikey. I really appreciate you sitting down and talking to us for a bit.
Time.
All right.
Never mind. I'm like, am I supposed to say more? I hate Asian. No, just kidding.
We're leaving that in. All right, that's gonna do it. That's gonna do it for the SIRS podcast, spearheading the ELU mayhem and bringing y'all up close and personal deep dives with our guests with light hearts and extra sauce. We'll see y'all next week.